Do you want me to do my clap thing?
Go.
We good?
This is the Luca Health Podcast, the show that goes beyond sport to understand the people behind the performances.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm joined by an absolute force in the world of boxing, Chantelle Cameron. She's a two-weight world champion, the former undisputed light-welterweight champion, and one of the most relentless fighters in the sport today. From dominating the amateur scene to making history in the pro ranks, Chantelle has proven time and again that she's a warrior in and out of the ring. In this episode, we're diving into her journey, her rise through the ranks, the mentality that keeps her at the top, and what's next for her in the fight game. Chantelle, thanks for coming on. Awesome to have you here. How's everything going?
Yeah, great, thank you, and thanks for the intro. Very good intro. And pleasure to be sitting down with you and having a good chat.
ChatGPT did actually help me out with that intro,
yeah.
which is terrifying, isn't it? That you can outsource all of this stuff with a little bit of cross-referencing to make sure it's hopefully accurate. But fellow Northamptonian?
Yeah, born and bred and very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. From East Northamptonshire?
Yeah,
is that
Eastern
right?
District.
Yeah.
So I was born in Eastern, mum and dad still live there and always representing the town now. And I'm very proud of it to put it on the map.
Well, brilliant. And it's great at Luca. We've actually got a number of connections. Yeah, I'm a Northamptonshire boy, and we've got Courtney Laws as a fellow investor, Avril, who owns Cinch, who's kindly hosting us today. Shout out to the purple that is Cinch, and all things used cars. Cool. Well, I'm really keen to get into everything. You know, your career and hopes, dreams, aspirations for beyond the ring. But before we get into that, we have a bit of a quick fire round to get to know each of our guests. So are you game with that?
Yeah, good to go.
Perfect. So books or films?
Films.
Anyone in particular?
Just rom-coms, comedy. Just don't do horrors. Do anything except from horrors and sci-fi.
Same actually.
Don't do it.
Horrors in particular, I don't know why you'd not want to sleep that night.
I am trying to get into books a bit more because when I was younger I used to be a right bookworm, but I've been slacking a bit.
Have you?
So I'm trying to get back into that.
Okay. Childhood hero?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Got me into kickboxing, which is a little bit random, but that's who got me into kickboxing, watching all the TV series when I was a kid and going out and trying to do all the fighting.
Very cool. Okay. And big win or epic comeback?
That's a very good one. It depends who the comeback would be against. So I'm going to say epic comeback because I think big win, you can kind of get a bit ahead of yourself, but a comeback, you have to go for your demons, the pressures, everything that comes after a loss. So I'm going to go epic comeback because you have to face a lot more having a comeback. So yeah, epic comeback against a good opponent.
Totally. Have you had one?
I did have a comeback.
That springs to mind?
Yeah, I did have a comeback, but I wouldn't say it was epic because I had a sinus infection and chest infection, and it was last year. But I got the comeback in a good fight, but wasn't really the performance I wanted. So kind of still sits a bit bittersweet with me, that one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And one stadium or venue you'd absolutely love to fight in?
Northampton Saints, always. So close to getting it 2 years ago, but lost the rematch against Katie Taylor, so then plans fell through. But for me,
that would be unbelievable.
Unbelievable, yeah. And the Saints are keen for it as well. So there's been conversations back and forth a lot, but just need the opponent, need the promoter to back it, and it will happen because I want it. Northampton Saints Stadium want it, but just money
the
talks. The
town wants it. Yeah. We all want to see it.
Yeah, be incredible, but I still have high hopes.
So who do you want for that fight?
Anyone.
Anyone.
As long as I got my homecoming, I'd fight anyone. I wouldn't be
Have
picky.
you fought in Northampton before?
Once as an amateur, but we're going back like 10 years ago. It was so long ago, and it's only once. And my whole career, I've only fought once in Northampton, which is crazy. The closest I got was Milton Keynes at the stadium there.
Stadium MK?
Yeah, Stadium MK.
Where the MK Dons play?
Yeah, but it was behind closed doors.
Oh,
so it wasn't really
was it COVID? Yeah.
So that's the closest I got behind closed doors, and I was like,
surely you could just fight that anywhere.
Yeah.
Just go to the local gym.
Could have gone into someone's back garden, but closest I got.
Okay, well, let me know if you do fight the Saints, because I'll definitely be down to watch that one. Okay, cool. Yeah, the quickfire round always becomes like a non-quickfire round, but it's nice to get into these things. Okay, brilliant. So you sat here today, super decorated boxer, former world champ. You obviously got aspirations to fight Katie Taylor again.
Yeah.
Was pro boxing and this sort of life always on the cards for you growing up? You said that you were into kickboxing off the back of watching Buffy and Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. To be honest, I never wanted to box. It was never really in my sights. I loved kickboxing, and I used to always be obsessed with Van Damme movies, Buffy. I was very good kickboxer and Thai boxer as well, but for a future, there's not really a future in it, and it was costing my dad a lot of money. It's kind of putting a bit of pressure on the family to support me kickboxing, because it is an expensive sport. And then women's boxing was announced that it was going to come into the Olympics, and it was actually my kickboxing coach in Birmingham that kind of gave me like the kick up the bum that I needed to go do something where I can make a career, which I didn't really like visualise happening. But I've been very lucky and very grateful for the opportunities I have got with boxing, because I could sit here and say, I always thought I was going to be a pro boxer, I always thought I was going to be world champion, but I really didn't. It was never in my plans. I wanted to be a kickboxer.
Which is super refreshing, because everyone, like not everyone, but a lot of people sit back when they've gone and achieved great things and was like, that was always going to happen type thing.
Yeah,
and that's so unrelatable to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Is there now a pathway for aspiring kickboxers to make a career out of it? Or was it just that, 10, 15 years ago that wasn't the case?
I'm not too sure, because it broke my heart when I left kickboxing. So I left a lot of people behind that I've grew up with and I was very close to. So when I did leave kickboxing, because I was actually told I had to pick boxing or kickboxing, because amateur boxing, they do make you, if you're going to box for England or GB, you can't kickbox anymore. It's a no-go. I don't know if that still happens now, but when I was back then, that was the rule. So I decided, when I did walk away from kickboxing, after a few tears and whatnot, I decided to just lose touch with it completely, and kind of that one where if it's going to hurt you, then stay away from it. So I lost it. So I don't really know now, if I'm honest, but hopefully it is. That hopefully there is potential for people to have a career in it, and there's a bit of money there, but I honestly don't know.
So you ripped the Band-Aid off and you couldn't look back, because it was too emotive.
But never say never. I still owe my kickboxing coach one more fight, so as long as I do a bit of stretching and get my hips and legs working again, probably would have one more kickboxing fight.
Did you doubt yourself? Because I heard on another podcast that it was actually a kickboxing coach who obviously meant a lot to you, who was sort of steering you in that direction, and it felt a little bit like, does this person not believe in me, trying to sort of get rid of me? Was it? Or was it just like, no, this is what needs to be done?
I know he's a very smart guy, and he knew that I'd kind of done everything I could in kickboxing. And it was getting to a point where my dad was having to spend a lot of money to get me opponents, and I think he seen potential in me. I was very good with my hands. I was strong. I had good boxing technique, and I'm so grateful for him, because if it wasn't for him, I probably would still be in kickboxing. Never would have entered a boxing gym and be working a 9 till 5, and never have the opportunities that I've been given now with the sport I'm in. So to this day, I'm so grateful, because you have to be around them kind of people that do, he could have had me representing the club and doing wonders for his club, but he wasn't selfish, and he done the best thing for me and kind of kicked me out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he still supports me to this day as well.
Really?
So it's lovely, yeah.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Those unassuming people that are dotted around the country in large numbers, but they're so unassuming, and they just completely change the trajectories of people's lives.
Yeah.
It's staggering. And I heard a quote from a former teacher of yours, a shocking quote from your psychology teacher, who, as you just referenced, you'd be doing a 9 to 5 type thing, saying that this girl is going to end up with a hat load of kids and going to be stocking shelves at Tesco's if she doesn't knuckle down. And so you proved him or her wrong somewhat.
And he had a son at the school as well, which is crazy, but he did it in a lesson full of my classmates, and I was just like, wow. And to this day, when I meet up with some of my school friends, we laugh about it now, because we think, I wonder if he knows what I'm doing now, because I'm not stacking shelves in Tesco. But the worst thing is I got sacked from Tesco, so it was completely off the line. So yeah, but I do wonder, does he look now and think, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that to her? Bit inappropriate as well.
Potentially not self-aware or doesn't care enough if he's going to be telling that to youngsters.
Yeah, and because it's from the Eastern District. Eastern District has a label anyway, and just madness.
So Eastern District, what was your upbringing like? Any siblings? It sounds like your dad was driving you all over the county, Midlands, country, potentially getting you fights. Was it a very sporty sort of childhood?
No, not at all. Like, I wasn't sporty at all. None of my family done any sport. My sister played a bit of football here and there, but it's really weird how I just was adamant that I wanted to be a kickboxer. It's just, like, even when people like talk to me about like, oh, you must have someone sporty in the family. I really have no one sporty in my family. We never watched sport, never talked about sport. It was just me that just wanted to fight.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, really.
An anomaly.
Quite crazy.
Well, fair enough. Feisty at all growing up? Was there any indication that you were going to be? It was
the Eastern District. You had to learn how to fight.
Right.
Like, if you didn't learn how to fight, you were probably going to get bullied or beaten up and taken advantage of. So it was kind of, we were Eastern District kids that had to fight. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the best childhood.
Streetwise, stand up to people.
Yeah.
Not be bullied. Okay, well, there you go. Then it was obviously very formative. So thank you for that. You know, you've explained how you got into kickboxing, had to leave that behind. Boxing, got into the Olympics. So then you presumably had an amateur career. I think you just missed out on the Olympics.
Yeah, literally so narrowly. I went to the qualifiers, but just didn't work for me. But a very frustrating time because I beat the gold medalist 8 times. She beat me 1 time, which the time that actually mattered, which is just so annoying because it was in the qualifiers she beat me, where she's never beat me before. And then everyone that medalled in the Olympics in my weight category, I'd beaten. So it was a bit bittersweet for me, as I thought it could have been me, but there's a plan, isn't there? And it wasn't my destiny. Yeah.
So what games would that have been for?
Rio 2016.
2016. Okay, cool. Awesome. So then how did you make that, or like what was a transition from amateur boxing, like the games journey not panning out as it maybe should have done? Like, you know, you definitely had the capability to get there and to do well. Was it that amateur boxing wasn't for you? How did you make that transition from the amateur ranks to the pro ranks? Because I confess, you are an investor in our business and I'm extremely grateful for that. But when your wealth manager reached out to me, I was like, I don't know who Chantelle is. And that is absolutely not a reflection on you as a boxer. Like, I probably know the name of like 2 boxers on the planet. So, and then I did a little bit of Googling and Chantelle Cameron's got like 400,000 Instagram followers. Like, probably quite a big deal. So talk to me about how that all panned out.
So I don't think amateur boxing was ever for me. Like I said, like I never wanted to box. I loved kickboxing, but amateur boxing, it was going to be in the Olympics, and everyone wants to have an Olympic medal, didn't they? You get told you win an Olympic medal, your whole world changes. But for me, when I first started any kind of martial arts, that wasn't in the zone for me. It was only when I was like 18 that it was announced that boxing was going to go into the Olympics. It was very different to most Olympians. But I did go into amateur boxing, and I was pretty good because I wouldn't have got on Team England and Team GB. So I think I'm just a natural fighter. But amateur boxing is very like tippy-tappy and point system, and I didn't really enjoy it. I was on GB, I was travelling the world, I didn't have to work, I was 18, I was on getting paid monthly to do a sport, which is everyone's dream, isn't it? So
lottery funded.
No tax. So I was travelling everywhere, and it was really cool, but the style and that, I didn't really suit me. And people don't realise there's such a difference between the amateur game and the pro game, whereas I knew the pro game would really suit me because of my style. But back then, women's professional boxing wasn't really a thing unless you went to Germany or America. And again, I had no ambition to do that. It was like after amateur boxing, and I didn't qualify for the Olympics. It was kind of, what do I do now? Like, where am I going to go? And never had a job. I had a part-time job working 4 hours on a weekend, so like I didn't really have much experience, wasn't really employable because I spent 7 years as a full-time athlete. So it was kind of when I was going through a transition stage of thinking, what am I going to do? So I did start looking at travelling, because I think I was about 24, 25 at the time, and I thought, go travel, had some savings and like get that experience. But then how the world works is I got an offer to have a meeting with Barry McGuigan back then, and it was just so
I've heard
like,
of him.
yeah. So had that meeting and sold me a dream and ended up signing professional and went from there. But it's just mad how everything works, because I was gonna just walk away from boxing because I had nothing else to give, and I didn't want to box amateur. I didn't want to do the GB setup anymore, and I was ready to find out what was next for me. But my amateur coach spoke to Barry, set up a meeting, and here I am now, years later.
Sliding doors moment. If your amateur coach hadn't spoken to Barry, then potentially, we wouldn't be sat here today.
So John Daly, he's from Northampton as well.
John Daly?
Yeah.
Not the golfer?
No.
Do you know the golfer, John Daly?
I don't know if I'd have got
Larger-than-life character.
Oh, okay.
Pisshead.
Yeah.
Smokes while he plays.
Oh, wow,
Like
okay.
very, very colourful character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I never heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah, John Daly's a legend in himself.
Is he?
Fair Cotton Boxing Club.
Right.
And he made the introduction, and here I am now.
You say, I mean, I'm delighted that you spoke to Barry and you are where you are now, but I think you're underplaying yourself. You definitely would have been very employable. You've obviously got a huge amount about you.
Yeah.
You know, if you made it to GB, nearly to the Olympics, and you've been a full-time athlete for a number of years. Like, I think that it's something that a lot of athletes like really worry about is that transition, because so much imposter syndrome about the real world or about the corporate world, and it's all a load of rubbish.
This is where I think athletes need more help. I think it's a massive, massive issue, because even to this day, like, I have investments. I've invested, have houses. Like, I'm being very smart, but do I know what I'm going to do after boxing? I still, to this day, don't know, and that's the worrying thing. And I'm very, very lucky and fortunate that I've achieved what I've achieved, and I've put money away, and I've been sensible. But even me, I'm still worrying, and I feel for the people that maybe haven't done as well or haven't been smart with their money, and they're in the same boat, but there's nothing there for us or anyone to speak to or give us guidance. So it's a tough world that athletes live in, but people don't see that. They just see all the lifestyle and think, oh, they're so lucky. But it's all about the mind as well. You have to be very switched on and careful, because there's a lot of dinosaurs out there as well, and snakes in the grass.
Vultures looking to sort of tap into what you've got and cream off a little bit. I totally see that. I think you raise a good point. I'm interested to know, is that worry, I guess, like fear of the unknown, fear of that other side? Because the way that I think about these things now is like, it's fine not to know what you want to do. I don't know what I want to do after we built Luca, and hopefully it's been a great success. And I'm like, a younger version of me would have been really worried about like what I'll be doing now at 35. But now I'm 35, I'm kind of like, well, I'll figure it out, and like I'll follow my interests and how I want to be spending my time, and then it will all just fall into place. And I probably have like slightly more belief. And this is coming from somebody who's not achieved the things that you achieved. But I'm interested from your side, as somebody who's coming towards the end of their career. Where does this worry stem from? Is it just because all you sort of know is boxing from a
I just love
standpoint?
fighting. I love fighting. I think we're going to get into it later about like being punch drunk and having the wear and tear, where I'm 33, I'm getting on now, but I still want to have everything intact, and I want to be able to speak well and have good conversations and have a good memory. So like, it's a massive worry. Like, my sport is getting punched in the head and getting like cuts where you get headbutted and whatnot, but you shouldn't get headbutted in boxing, but it does happen by some, and things like that. Like, it all plays in, and like I do think I'm very sensible, and it is a worry for me, because I do want to come out of this game healthy and have a future as well. I don't want to come out of this and be like my hands wrecked, my body wrecked, like having so many problems. So I'm always thinking about what's next.
You've told me what you want to do post boxing, so let's get into that towards the end, because I'm super interested and very admirable of what that ambition is. So let's get into your pro record. 21 fights today. Okay, cool. 20 wins.
20 wins.
8 by knockout.
Yeah.
Not 20.
Nah, I wish.
A little typo in my notes earlier, but 1 loss.
1 loss.
And I mean, that's an unbelievable record, by the way, just to start with. And that loss. Okay, so set the scene here. Super successful.
Yeah.
Talk us through becoming, 2-time world champion of the world, undisputed. Like, talk me through like that journey a little bit, and then I want to get onto that one pain point that's etched into your brain, I imagine.
Lightweight, I was IBO world champion, I think in my 5th fight against a very good opponent. Ended up vacating that belt because I was mandatory back then for Katie Taylor, and I was mandatory for 2 years, waiting to get my shot at Katie Taylor way back then, but the fight never happened. Katie Taylor went up to 140 for one fight. She won a world title. So me and my team said, she's not going to fight me at 135. Kind of got the vibe that she was going to go her own direction and swerve me. So I went, and she did. So went up to 140, won a world title in Milton Keynes behind closed doors.
Yeah. Shout out MK.
Yeah. Then entered a tournament to become undisputed because won the world title, which was absolutely incredible. But every boxer's dream is to be undisputed. Like UFC, you get one belt for the weight and you're the world champion. But in boxing, there's separate belts in your weight category. So you have to be a world champion with other people, where in undisputed, like, you are the champ of the division. So entered the tournament for that, won my semi-final against, so I become unified world champion against a very, very tough Mary McGee. The tournament fell through, which was really disheartening because I thought, that goes out the window. Undisputed now probably won't happen because politics of boxing and world champions and promoters maybe not wanting to give you the opportunity or make the fight happen. So I thought Undisputed Dream was come to a halt. But again, very lucky, and shout out to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn because they did get me the undisputed shot against Jessica McCaskill in Abu Dhabi, which still to this day is like, gives me goosebumps thinking about it. It was the best experience. And
really?
Yeah, it was amazing. First women fight in the Middle East for an undisputed, so I broke history there.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. Abu Dhabi.
In a part of the world where women don't necessarily have
it was just beautiful.
Equal rights.
Yeah, it was amazing. Country was beautiful. The fight week, it was so special, and even to this day it will be such a special memory for me. So yeah, become undisputed. Then carries on a couple of months in camp preparing for a fight. Was meant to be on anti-Joshua undercard. It was kind of a fight that had no opponent, and the fight was getting close. And again, how the world works, sparring, injured my tricep. So I tore my tricep sparring. I was at home having a bath, and next thing, Katie Taylor shouts me out on Instagram. And I was like, what? So random, because that's not her style either. Like, she doesn't have to shout people out. She's a massive legend of the sport. She's made women's boxing where it is.
Right.
So without Katie and Clarissa, women's boxing wouldn't be where it is. So regardless of me and her fights, my win, her win, I respect her, what she's done. She's an incredible athlete.
She's a trailblazer, was she?
Yeah, she's a massive.
She's a bit older than you.
Yeah, I think she's 39 now.
Right.
So a massive trailblazer, but she doesn't need to do that. So literally, I'm injured. Literally, come home from camp, feeling sorry for myself. And Katie Taylor goes on Instagram and calls me out. So straight away...
Calls you out for a fight?
Calls me out for a fight, yeah.
Right.
And I was like,
because she knew you were injured, or
no,
someone
no
got some intel?
Nobody knew. Well, unless I was intel, I don't know. But
Leaks
I was
from
like...
the camp?
Yeah,
no,
I was...
I'm not suggesting that your team were not fully behind you.
So rang my coach, rang my manager and was like, absolutely yes. I'm injured anyway. I'm not fighting on anti-Joshua's on the card. Scrap that. I want to fight Katie Taylor. And literally the fight was done in 24 hours. It was that easy to make, which for a fight of that magnitude is insane how quick it was made, because I just said yes. Took the fight, went over to Dublin, Katie Taylor's homecoming, Katie Taylor's show, Katie Taylor, the Queen of Ireland, and ruined her homecoming and took the belts home with me.
And you became undisputed
in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
but I was defending my belts.
Them. Yeah. Okay, fine.
So I beat the undisputed world champion at 147.
Yeah.
To get the 140 belt. So she was reigning undisputed at the weight above me.
Yeah.
Beat her in Abu Dhabi. Then Katie Taylor come up to my weight, undisputed at her weight, and beat her. So I beat 2 undisputed champions back to back, which is
it's impressive.
Pretty incredible.
It's confusing, all the belt stuff and the different weights.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying.
Does it just, if you win one belt, is it kind of like, big deal because there are some others and it doesn't really matter until you're undisputed?
It's a massive achievement for someone to win a world title.
Sure, I'm not suggesting that. But
just for me, it was like, I don't want to share this. I want to be fully undisputed. I want to be the best in my division. But if you're one of 5 with a world champion belt, who is the best?
Yeah, you're 20% of the world champion.
Yeah, so that's the good thing about UFC, is just one belt and you're the champ. Boxing, there's too many belts.
And that's just like a control thing,
politics, money.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so a lot of money goes into the sanctioning bodies, which are the belts. So
got it. Okay,
that's
and so
boxing for you.
then undisputed in Abu Dhabi, belts on the line against Katie Taylor, who was like a bit of an icon, or at least somebody that you looked up to. But then, okay, so you ruined the party in Dublin. What was that like? I imagine Dublin, like, you know, a home crowd for an Irish boxer in Dublin is a fairly intimidating.
Oh hell
like
yeah,
hot,
it was bad. Yeah, it was
prickly environment.
Very prickly. It was insane. I was getting booed. Never been booed like that in my life. And I was thinking, oh, this isn't the best. But at the time, I was like, it was like water for a back duck. I thought I knew what I was going to do. I was confident, and I embraced it. I embraced the villain, and it suited me at the time. And I knew that I could beat her, so I had all the belief in the world, and I just knew that I was going to get the win, and I made sure that I put on the performance that they couldn't take it away from me.
Yeah. So, but on paper, you had a lot to lose.
Oh, on paper, I wasn't supposed to win.
Right.
They should never have let me win. It was their mistake for letting me win the first one.
What do you mean letting you win? Like actually scoring it fairly?
Yeah,
scoring it fairly. So I've heard what happened in the November fight.
But not even that. Katie Taylor's had a few of them decisions.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Back home?
No, not back home. I'm the only person to box her in Ireland.
Okay, yeah, you said her homecoming.
So
how can that happen?
So Katie Taylor did lose to Delphine Pursoon way before I boxed her.
Yeah.
If people watch the Delphine fight, so Katie Taylor has amazing fans. She got such good support, and rightly so as well. But proper boxing people know that Delphine did win her fight against Katie Taylor. Amanda Serrano, she fought Katie Taylor before me as well, and I personally thought Amanda won, and a lot of other people thought Amanda won that, but Katie got the nod. So I go to Ireland and made sure that the judges couldn't rob me, put on a good performance.
Absolutely smashed her, basically.
I just knew that I had to just make sure that
if it was going to be a 50-50 call, you weren't going to get the call.
100%. 50-50 with Katie Taylor in Ireland, you wouldn't get a look in.
So, sounds like boxing might be... Yeah, how to put this? Like, there's the potential to corrupt certain people.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of money changing hands. So what is giving Katie Taylor the nod in these 50-50 calls? Like, is it because she's the big icon?
She's such an M.
There's a lot of betting. Yeah. There's a lot of dollars on her. Like, how I don't know. You maybe don't want to say anything.
No, I wouldn't even know what it was. But she's like, even to this day, she's an absolute legend, and she's a complete icon.
Yeah.
But like, I get so much hate for saying the truth, and people don't like the truth. But even to this day, I'm always going to say the truth.
Yeah.
That Katie Taylor has had decisions handed to her, and she has been wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Like, that's just a fact, and all the hate can come, but it's just it's being a realist, and people know it deep down. She's been given favours, and it's because what she's done for women's boxing, which I agree is absolutely amazing. Like, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now if it wasn't for Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields. But should other fighters' dreams be destroyed because of that? No. So I just think you got to
bring the next lot through, and it's got to be meritocracy. Otherwise, people become less interested.
You have to pass the torch as well, and it's like, it's sport. You have to do it fair, and it doesn't matter if you're a trailblazer, you're a name or not a name. People put so much into their lives for boxing or any combat sport or any sport in general. Like, you literally give your life to it. So to rob people of their dreams and achievements, like, it's just not fair, in my opinion.
Does she know deep down that she's been given fights?
She should do.
Fine.
She should know.
And one of those fights she was given was the follow-up fight.
So the
second fight in Dublin.
Yeah. So I can't. I've not watched the fight back.
Have you not?
Because it's like still. Yeah, because it was just a horrible night. It was like again, the prickly atmosphere. It was double that. It was so intense. She headbutted me, split my head open.
Wow.
There was blood everywhere, holding me. I was getting annoyed at the ref. I scored a knockdown, which should have been a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
The referee didn't even score a knockdown. So it was just one of them nights where, would I watch it back? Maybe in the future, but to be honest, it was just a real shit night. Like, it was just, everything was just wrong, and fair play to her. She took the belt, she got the win. After the fight, I was getting my head stitched up, so I didn't hang around in the ring because I wanted to get stitched up to obviously take care of my head. And she said that next for her was going to be a trilogy with me, massive for women's boxing, the first ever trilogy. but then when it comes to negotiations, I accepted less money than the first 2 fights, which is unknown off because it should have been more, but I just wanted the rematch so bad because I wanted my redemption. It was all good to go, date was set, and then next thing I got a phone call that she wanted an easier fight, and here I am now, 2 years down the line, I think it's 2 years, and just having a trilogy of Amanda Serrano that she's beaten twice. So tells you a lot, doesn't it? Just even me saying it out loud is like, it is what it is.
It's shocking. And that fight hit you hard, that loss? Yeah,
very hard. It was, I think it was because my first loss, and I'm such a sore loser, I don't like losing. It's tough to lose. But I think it was the circumstances as well. I think I'm a very good sportswoman. If someone beat me fair and square, I shake the hand. Well done to them. Like, there was a better woman on the night, but I think it was the whole atmosphere, things that were going on, how she won. Like, it wasn't a clean fight, and I was getting angry, I was getting frustrated. Like, I was trying to get her off me, so I was putting my forearm in her face and all sorts. But like, she was nutting me, she was holding me, so I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
The referee was doing absolutely nothing. I was like arguing with the referee a little bit, and it was just like, it was terrible.
Yeah,
it was really
you
bad.
had no control over the situation.
Nothing.
Just felt like what you had was being taken away from you.
Yeah,
unfairly.
it just robbed me. I just felt robbed. I felt like I was just snatching my belts.
Yeah,
I felt like I sold my belts. That's what I felt like.
That sickening feeling.
But I never wanted to go back to Dublin for the rematch, but I was forced. So it was kind of like that again for my camp, knowing that I had to go do something I didn't want to do was kind of sucked for me.
I've heard you talk about that, you know, saying that in hindsight you shouldn't have fought her again in Dublin because you've been there, you've done it, you've beaten her. It was literally just like a repeat, you know, just like you need, and I think this is the same for like all athletes and people. You need something fresh, like a new challenge, motivate. Even if it's the same boxer or the same person that you're running against or playing rugby against, like it needs to feel new and different.
Deep down in my gut, I knew.
Right,
I knew,
really?
Yeah, deep down, honest to this day, like I knew in my gut that this was not right. I knew it, and I've never spoke about it, but the day of the fight, I've never cried before a fight. But the morning of my fight, I cried because I just had this feeling. I was like, tonight's not going to be good for me. And it's so weird. Like, there's no word of a lie. I remember Nigel Travis, he come up to my room as well because I was crying, and he was kind of like, and I was like, something's not right. It doesn't feel right. So it was
just that gut
just
intuition.
My gut. Yeah, I just knew. I just knew that it was not good. I had a bad feeling, and I was right all along.
Was it just the night of the fight, or was it leading up? Did you even know in camp, or?
I just couldn't get up for it.
Right.
Like, and there's no excuses, not taken away from Kate Taylor. She got the win, but I just couldn't get up for it. I didn't want to go back to Dublin.
Yeah.
So I tried to make it a little bit more like I can get something out of it. So I asked her that if I moved down to lightweight, will she put her belts on the line, because she was undisputed at the weight below. So I had something to achieve. She had her chance to become two-weight undisputed world champion. She didn't achieve it that night when I beat her. So I wanted something where I could become two-weight world champion, two-weight undisputed world champion, which I haven't achieved to this day, but she wouldn't do it. So I had nothing to go for. It was like just having to go back, do it all over again, which was hard the first time. It wasn't easy mentally, physically. Like, going into the Lion's Den is not a good place to fight. So I just wasn't right. I
was going to say, and what you're doing, like, you know, I've not come close to ever hitting someone, let alone be hit and being like a proper professional fight. But presumably, I have played sport, you know, like a decent level, and I know what it's like. Like, you've got to be sort of on the edge, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to be
in boxing. Like, how much prep does it take mentally to get to a place where you're willing to go and potentially get really hurt?
Yeah.
You know, and take punches and everything that entails. You know, you do what, is it like a 2.5 month, 3 month camp or something leading up to a big fight?
Depends on the magnitude of the fight, but it could be 8 weeks, could be 12 weeks. Okay. Start of your career, it could be 6 weeks. So it all depends on what sort of fight it is. If it's a title fight, if it's a 10-rounder, if it's a 6-rounder. So. And
how much of that like block is being spent getting your Swede in the right place
whole
mentally?
12 weeks. Even before that, like your mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
So for me, my mind is my biggest weapon.
Okay.
So as long as my mind's good, I'm going to perform good. If my mind's elsewhere, I'm not going to perform.
And how do you keep your mind in check, or like get it in check, basically?
People I surround myself with, having the right team, and do a lot of like work on myself as well, like mentally, like believing in myself, because it's my biggest downfall would be my confidence and like my self-doubt.
Yeah.
So throughout my career, I've been working on that more and more.
And do you have specific practices or like routines around that?
Just
like,
on fight weeks and stuff, the stuff I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't want to get into the secrets.
Don't let that out of the bag.
No.
But I have like
that's
my own,
probably a good one,
strategies and stuff.
Good one
but
to
works
keep
for
to
me.
yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. I've been doing quite a lot of stuff like that recently. Maybe not so much on the self-confidence side, but definitely on like, contemplative, mindful practice.
Yeah.
Meditated every day this year.
Yeah.
Which I'm very pleased about.
Yeah.
It makes a massive difference.
It
where
does,
you just take like time out of your day just to
Yeah.
sit still and,
Yeah.
focus on your breath or like
Yeah.
whatever it is, acknowledging a thought and not engaging with it. I think stuff like that is hugely
Very
powerful.
powerful. Yeah, very powerful.
Visualization's always been a big thing in sport.
Yeah.
Same with a sport like boxing. Do you see, the combos with your hands, the punch routines that you're putting together?
I go through it over and over and over.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just like, sometimes it drives me mad because I just want it out of my head. Like, I could just be out walking, having down day.
Really?
I just got these combinations in my head and it just drives me crazy.
Are you seeing like Katie Taylor in your mind when you're putting those routines together in your head? Okay, so you are visualizing, manifesting, whatever you want to call it.
I do it a lot, visualizing,
an
manifestation. So I already see myself beating Katie Taylor and I've done it.
Okay.
The rematch, didn't see myself losing, so didn't go as well. But even with my fights, like I visualise my punches I'm going to throw, how I'm going to go about it, and then when it gets to the actual fight, it just all plays out.
Well, because you've already played it in your mind, haven't you?
So many times, over and over.
It's just executing.
Yeah.
You've said that boxing is more mental than it is physical. I think like 60-40 or something was the numbers that you put on it, which is really interesting. That's presumably from a performance standpoint, as we've just alluded to, like all that mental prep to get you into a position where you can actually go to the ring and take punches and throw them. But also, I think you're also, that's a nod to the fact, and you've spoken about this already today, the business of boxing can be a bit murky and a bit opaque, and not everything's super transparent, and certain things happen and certain fights are given to some people when they shouldn't be. Can you like elaborate on some of the things that you've experienced to somebody that doesn't know boxing like myself? But I get the sense that it's like that before we even sat down to speak today. It's kind of like there's a lot of kingmakers, it seems, like some of these like super agents and things, and it's kind of like, hang on a minute, like who's actually in control here? Like anyway, so
without getting myself in trouble,
don't get in trouble.
I will get myself in trouble. The boxer should be the one who is in control, but the boxers are never in control.
Okay.
So we're like the puppets.
Yeah.
But the boxer's the one who's getting himself in the ring, doing the 12-week camp, putting yourself through hell, dieting, training, the physical side of the fight, and we kind of employ people to be on our team. But it kind of like doesn't really work like that anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like we're just the puppets. So we're filling people's pockets, but we're the ones that are like just having to do the actual work.
I understand what you're saying. Is that a failure of governance? Because you see that in football to a certain degree, don't you, with these big agents? I mean, footballers, I imagine, probably wouldn't describe themselves as puppets, but you understand what I'm saying. Some people profit like in a huge extent off the back of these superstar footballers, but then you've got like the Premier League, for instance, that bring in rules around agent fees and all that kind of thing. Is it a failure at the governing body level? Is it the British Boxing Board of Control that should be doing more? How do we make it so that the people who are actually, got stuff to lose are actually being fairly compensated?
I wouldn't point fingers because I'd literally get in trouble. But I'm very lucky with my manager because he's he's transparent with me. We've been working with each other a long time. So he just deals with my boxing side, and I do think he has my best interests as well. So I'm very lucky in my position with my manager. But I think there's a lot worse. So I'm very grateful and very fortunate that I've had what I've been given. So I have had some great opportunities and great chances, but I'm talking about my friends or people I know in the industry that are being stung really bad. So that's why I always say, like, I am so grateful and I'm fortunate. Like, has it been plain sailing for me? No. There's been so many ups and downs and tears, blood, sweat, tears, the whole lot. But I'm glad that I can sit here and say that I've been undisputed world champion. But I done that. It was me who achieved that. It was given to me, the opportunity, and I grabbed it with both hands. But is that going to happen for everyone? Probably not, because of politics and stuff. So it's a very tough industry, and you have to have tough skin. Yeah. And mine's got tougher and tougher over the years.
And you wouldn't let your children box?
Never. Absolutely not. Never. Not pro boxing. Would never let
Because of the industry rather than the sport?
Because of the industry. It's a tough industry. And not that, again, I'll say it's the fans. The fans are absolutely brutal. Yeah, it's a very fickle industry where you're winning, everyone's around you and supporting you. You're losing, you should retire. That's what people think. And people cling on to narratives. So say a promoter or a media outlet put a narrative about you that's not true, the fans will jump on that and absolutely attack you with it, not knowing the full truth. Yeah. Or if you speak the truth, again, you're going to get attacked for speaking the truth, even though, like, as an athlete, you sit here as my career and my decisions and my happiness, but the fans are the ones that are buying the tickets and supporting you, but it doesn't give them the opportunity to attack you as well.
It's so true. So, depending on how a media outlet spins what you've said, they can turn people against you. And most people aren't going to read the full interview or listen to the full podcast. So it's just clickbait, as you say. Yeah. That's tough.
So that's a very tough part of the industry as well, which I don't enjoy. Like, I just like to fight, I like to have my downtime, I like my privacy. Yeah. But it's part of the parcel of pro boxing. And my biggest downfall is I have been outspoken and spoke the truth and people don't want to hear it. So you get attacked for it, but I just got tough skin now, because I think I'm glad I'm going to sit here and said what I've said in the past about promoters, about this, about that, because it was true. And I've got no reason to lie. And I don't want the next generation to come up and feel like they've got to be mistreated or taken advantage of a little bit just because they're scared to speak out. So as much as it is tough, I'm quite proud of what I've done, because hopefully someone else who's going to have tough skin, they're going to do the same.
It's super admirable, like, the fact that you're willing to, make life difficult for yourself, because presumably you wouldn't feel comfortable shying away and not expressing your opinion, because you know deep down that that's not who you are. And also,
it's morally wrong.
It's morally wrong. And also, as you say, there's going to be the next generation, and the only way that it's going to be better for them is if people like you make it marginally worse for yourself by saying the hard stuff.
I can take it now. I'm glad I've done it, because I've said it, it's out there, and I'll never regret what I said. So
and hopefully this leads to change, and hopefully there's less sort of like puppet masters, or at least the puppet masters are slightly like reduced in influence, and the boxers can just get on and do their thing and not be messed around. And then the generation that come after you will look up to you, no doubt, and be like, like you look up to Katie in some ways. That Chantelle helped bring about positive change. So
boxing's a great sport. It's an amazing sport, and the dedication you get with it, the adrenaline you get when you're fighting, and the lifestyle you have with it, like the routine. It's an incredible sport, but it is being ruined by the politics and the nastiness as well. Like, some young girls, like, to have to go on social media and read the nasty comments that these men put on, they're young. They've got to be up and coming. They've got a whole future ahead of them, and a lot of them, they could walk away from it. And I just think maybe it's just the generation we live in, where it gives people the platform to attack people online and get nothing from it. Like, they're going to get their own satisfaction to ruin someone's day and make someone feel pretty low about himself. But, like, what is that doing for them, really?
A lot of pathetic people out there.
It's insane. I just don't get my head around it. I just think, just enjoy the boxing and enjoy the fighters, and congratulate them when they've lost, congratulate them when they've won. Like, it's entertainment. And as much as we should appreciate the fans for supporting us and buying tickets, they should appreciate the boxers as well, because it works in two ways. So instead of giving
entertainment, if the boxers are doing their thing,
So instead of giving hate and being nasty and writing stuff online, just like support them, support everyone. It's a hard world everyone lives in anyway, and a bit of entertainment is for everyone's purpose. So don't put people down.
I think you just got to feel sorry for these people that are trolling
Yeah.
sportsmen and women on
Yeah.
and everyone else on social media, because if their life has to be really, really horrendous and dull and depressing in order for that to look attractive as a way of getting like a short-term feel good. Like,
I don't know how it makes them feel good, but I guess sad people.
Do you, as a pro athlete, I imagine it's quite hard not to read a lot that's written about you?
I try not to.
Do you?
And especially because like I'm not looking for clout and looking for attention and looking for headlines. So I think that helps me because I do like a quiet life. I like to just be in the background, go about my business. But obviously you are going to get tagged and stuff, and you get tagged in something, you're going to read it because you think like you can't help it. So if someone says to you, don't look down, automatically you look down. But I do try to avoid it. When I do read it, like obviously you think, oh God, another one. But again, sometimes you can feel sorry for them and think, you want to ruin my day, but I'm not going to allow you to ruin my day because I'm working hard, I'm doing well, I'm happy. And if you're going to write something bad about someone online, you're not in the same position.
Imagine it depends on your mental state. Like if you feel good about yourself and confident, then you can take that approach. Whereas if you're a bit low and you're just off the back of a fight loss and you're questioning yourself internally,
that's different.
Then you're more vulnerable to what people are right, because then you're like, oh, maybe there is a semblance of truth in a way that when you like, you're walking tall and stuff, you're like,
that's very true. It depends on where you're at. So that when I've been down before and I've seen comments, I have gone absolutely west on them and thought, I'm not having this, and I've actually rang them and everything.
Have you?
Yeah, and which is stupid really, but I've just been like, I'm not having you speak to me like this, and then rang them, and then the complete turnaround, it's like, oh, Chantelle, blah, blah. I'm just thinking, get offline, delete your account.
That's even almost more pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah,
they're just this warrior behind the keyboard. Okay,
and that's not the best advice to give to anyone. Don't ring trials.
Well, no. Also, it's probably like not the best use of your time, depending on how many followers and haters you've got. It could be a full-time job. So, what does downtime look like for you? You said that you live an unassuming life.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem like super low key to me. You seem like a really nice person. I would not that boxers. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't seem like you've got like an edge, but you do have an edge. I'm sure when you need to.
I'm just bit of a geek really, just like I guess so. Bit boring, just like walks, cinema. I don't really do much. My manager's always trying to get me out and about at shows and events, but I just like a quiet life, like Netflix. Just
shows and events for like promotional stuff.
But just I'd rather be at home. Be on the sofa.
Bit fake, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, fair enough. Where's home in Northampton?
Are you in Northampton? Abington.
Are you? Yeah, nice. Very cool. Okay, and you alluded to this earlier. I want to get onto the safety element or the welfare element of boxing.
Yeah.
And you've said that you want your health to be in a good place when you do hang up the gloves. How much of it is a concern for boxers?
Huge.
Punch drunk as a term has been around 100 plus years, I think, since the early 1900s. There's an awful lot of awareness around head injuries. I'm sure there always has been in boxing, but now in other contact/collision sports like rugby and the NFL, we've already seen it with a lawsuit there and the need to do more and protect players and have thorough protocols to keep people safe. How do you think about this?
A lot. And I think at my age now, it's the people around me as well, a bit more like, at the age of 33, I don't need to be sparring as much because it's taking impact to my head that, do I necessarily need? Like, obviously you need to spar for training camps, but do I need to be sparring how I was when I was in my 20s? No, because I've had the hard fights. I'm pretty experienced now. I've been around a long time. And I think it's more about like, I need to be looking after this now because I don't want to be slow in my speech and forgetting. I'm forgetful now, but I think that's just me. But I don't want to be forgetting things that I shouldn't be forgetting, and my memory getting worse and worse. I'm very, very aware of it now, and I'm a lot more cautious now because I don't want to be punch drunk.
Yeah, absolutely. And how does it work? I believe to have your license from the BBC.
Yeah.
Kind of confusing with the BBC. But so it's an annual renewal of that pro license, and that's dependent on a brain scan. Is that right?
They're very good with the brain scans annually. So if there's any change whatsoever in your brain, it's flagged and you probably won't get your license again.
Okay.
So if there's a shadow in the scan, or it could be anything, they're very, very good with the annual brain scans and they're very strict.
Yeah.
But my concern is after fights. Like, I've had fights and when we've had fights, we laugh about that because I'm a bit concussed.
Yeah.
And like everything's just a bit of a blur because you've been like punching your head, maybe had a few headbutts and you took impact.
Yeah.
So after the fight, it's kind of like you go to the corner, the doctor says, you okay, etc., and off you go. And it's like, is that the only testing you're going to do? Where a lot of people, boxers who I speak to, and I'd ask, I think, is it just me?
Yeah.
Like after a fight, like your head is hurting, like your adrenaline's down, the pain comes through, and you feel absolutely rubbish. But there's nothing. You just, that's it. You fight. You go to change. You fight. The fight ends. You go to the corner. Doctor does a quick, "Are you okay?" You say yes. That's it.
Yeah,
done.
that's staggering. I would have thought it'd be much more involved than that.
Yeah.
But it's good that they do scans. Is that that's annually? Is that always a bit of a scary time?
Very scary. I get generally so anxious about them because I'm being punched in my head for a living.
Yeah.
And any slight change means my license won't be renewed. So every year I go to that MRI scan, I'm just praying, thinking, please, one more year. Every year I do it.
But where's the fear from losing the career? Or from the fact that it's showing potential signs of brain damage? More the career.
The sad side of it is the career.
Is it? Yeah.
Because I don't want to go out on them terms. I want to go out on my own terms.
Fine, you've still got Katie Taylor to sort
but
out.
To lose your career like that, I think would be really, really hard.
And does it happen often?
Yeah, a hell of a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
So stuff is showing up on scans?
Boxers, they're losing their licenses and they won't get a license.
Okay.
Happens a lot, and it's like must be so bad for them boxers, and my heart goes out to them.
Yeah. Equally from my side, being involved in concussion and keeping like athletes safe, it almost, I'm pleased in a way. Not knowing these people, obviously it must be devastating for them professionally, and I've still got hopes, dreams, aspirations, all that kind of stuff from boxing. But I'm pleased that people are being kept back when there's clear
I agree
damage.
with that side, So I should have said that. I think it's good because they're not going to be at risk of any injuries, or people die in the ring. That's the thing. Like there's been boxers that died in the ring.
Yeah.
So you have to have these tests, but I do think there should be more. There should be more tests other than just the yearly, because who says my last fight I didn't get something in my brain and I'm going to go in my next fight and it's dangerous, like it really is. So maybe like not as detailed on MRI scans, but doing certain things to like check our brains. But I want to say I'm glad the boxers are being kept safe. Yeah. But I also, my heart goes out to them that how their career would end. It must be really hard.
We'll get you on the Luca system and we'll do some testing after fights if you want that. Direction of travel within pro boxing, is there going to be more scanning, more sort of tools being used for assessments of brain injuries? Like, where's the general consensus? Is it that more needs to be done?
Well, I'll give you an example. So our brain scans, British Board of Control, we used to be able to go to any MRI centre that will do the brain scans. But now the British Board of Control, we can only go to one organisation to do the brain scans. So, no, I think...
Right.
Yeah.
Someone's done a deal with them and wants to monetise that maybe.
I'm going to say no, there's not.
Okay. Just before I ask about the state of amateur boxing, and then we'll start to wrap up, the state of amateur boxing, because it's an area that I'm really worried about. And you know, we at Luca, I'm not meaning to plug the business here, but we're like much more interested in schools and people playing community sport because there's just zero provision basically. Whereas at least in the professional rugby, for instance, all eyes and ears are on these athletes. They've got smart mouth guards, like. Yeah, they're probably going to be fine. Like someone's going to spot something, but it's in the amateurs that I'm worried about. Before we get into that, though, I just want to ask you, what's it like in the immediate aftermath of a fight? Like, is the adrenaline absolutely pumping? Can you sleep that night?
No, I can't sleep.
Right.
Like, I'll be up at 5 a.m, taking my hair braids out and just feeling sorry for myself, thinking, oh, God, it's going to take forever. So the straight after a fight, what I'm thinking about is, oh, it's going to take so long to get these braids out.
Yeah.
but I can't sleep now.
Because like bright lights, adrenaline is through the
and
roof.
you just can't sleep. You're just literally so wired.
Yeah.
But your body's tired. So your body's tired,
Yeah.
but your mind's awake. I hate it. It's the worst feeling.
We used to have that at rugby because we used to play a lot of night games at the Saints, particularly like on a Monday night, like with the second team, and those bright lights, the adrenaline from an evening kickoff,
crowd,
and then like they're giving you caffeine tablets like in the warm up and stuff, and it's like 4 a.m. and you're like, oh my god, I'm knackered. As you say, like knackered but can't sleep.
Yeah.
It's a really weird one. Okay, interesting. Right, and in terms of amateur boxing, then, like, what's going on there? Are you worried about the youngsters, or even just like your amateurs that are hitting the Fern Cotton? Fern Cotton is a radio presenter. What's going on there?
Yeah, so there was talks about that leaving the Olympics, but I think it's not now. I think it's still going to be in the Olympics.
Okay.
But so the amount of amateurs, so much talent in the amateurs. My biggest concern is the youngsters. So I think the amateur boxing is so important for careers in the future.
Yeah.
You're seeing way too many young amateurs turning pro, or people skipping the amateurs. So they skip the amateurs and turn professional, which me personally think is absolutely ridiculous. You need an amateur background. I didn't enjoy the amateurs, but I don't know.
Because you need that schooling.
You do, yeah. You need to learn.
Yeah.
Like, you get into the pro boxing ring, first of all, you're in 8-ounce, 10-ounce gloves, tiny gloves. You're doing longer rounds. You're going to have a bigger crowd. Like, it's really intense, and them small gloves and no head guard. It's a big difference to having bigger gloves on.
Small gloves, so
like you're going to feel
actually,
it. Yeah, you're feeling more of the fist, and it's a hell of a lot more intense. And I don't like seeing these youngsters turning pro so young.
Yeah,
it's quite sad because you think, again, for the brain as well. Like, it does catch up on you. Like, I've had 21 fights now, and I know it's catching up on me. Like, my memory is nowhere near as good as what it used to be, and that's why I'm very looking at where my future will come to an end in the career, because how I was when I was 25 turning pro to where I am now, like, I'm getting on, and I'm feeling it catching up.
Yeah.
So to think about a 17-year-old girl or 18-year-old boy going into the pro ring and going on until they're 33, it's absolutely insane. It's crazy.
Too much trauma they're potentially taking on.
But no one's going to look after them boxers, because they're going to be in the pro career where people are making money.
Yeah.
So who's going to say to them, get out now? This isn't good for you.
Or you don't need that extra fight this year.
Yeah.
It's because it's all money.
Yeah. Very sad.
Super sad. Okay, let's just wrap up by talking about like what's next, legacy. How do you want to be remembered?
So for my own personal career, I would love my belts back.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love my belts back, but I want to be remembered in being the best fights, being an absolute savage, backing down from no one, never taking a back step, and doing the best I could with what I've got. So achieving what I've achieved, but doing it in the hard fights, the tough fights, and also being remembered as being outspoken and standing up for what I think is right. So I think that's really important to me. And for outside of boxing, the next generation. I can't wait to see another young female come out of Northampton as a champion. It's not happened yet, and I'm hoping that that's going to be my next project, is bringing the next female champion.
So your nickname means the boss, right?
Yeah.
You want to be remembered as the boss that lay it all out there, who said it how it was. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I'd quite like to be remembered for that, but I'm not sure I will be. Inspiring. I think it's amazing what you've achieved. You know, that
Thanks.
You didn't really go into it, which I think like loads of athletes, it's the same thing, right? But then what you've subsequently achieved is amazing, and I really, really hope that you get to have that showdown with Katie Taylor. Just make sure it's not in Ireland.
It will be, trust me.
But really, is that the only way?
I guess so. Her advantage. But do you know what? I'll be happy to go back to Ireland. I know that I'm confident that she'll never beat me again. She beat me the second time, but it wouldn't happen again.
Get your head in the right place this time.
Yeah, but she won't take that fight because she knows that and her team knows that.
Okay, but you do want to set up a gym post-boxing. Okay, so let's talk about this really quickly.
Yeah, so I'm literally in the motion of it now. So
amazing.
Yeah, King's Heath Amateur Boxing Club.
Cool.
So that was my first ever boxing club I went into. and it's in the King's Heath area of Northamptonshire. If you know it.
Yeah.
So it's
there's an AstroTurf. I played hockey King's Heath. I don't know whether it's still there. This would have been like a long time ago. But yeah, I know exactly where King's Heath
going
is.
through the council now, because me and Courtney Laws have freedom of the town.
Do you?
Yeah, so we got awarded.
That's super cool. We need to get Courtney on here, by the way.
Yeah, such a great guy as well.
Yeah.
Really, really is a good guy. And going through it now, going through the council, got massive plans, massive vision, but I just need the council to give me the green light. And good to go.
Well, surely they have to. If you've got freedom, you can just do what you want. Do you get one of those massive golden keys?
That's the mayor.
That's the mayor.
I wouldn't mind one of them though.
Do you get anything?
A certificate. And apparently I can walk sheep through the town.
That's cool.
But
I've
got no plans to do that.
Can you and Courtney come up with something cool and go and tell the council that they need to give you this thing and all subsequent freedom of the town owners?
Yeah. Or a free Nando's now and again. I'll go for that.
Black card to Nando's. Yeah. No, you need something that you can wear.
Free parking.
Yeah.
I'm sick of paying for parking as well.
Yeah, I know, but I want you to like walk around town and everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, freedom of the town.
They should give us some big gold bling.
Exactly.
Yeah, they should.
That's what I'm talking about.
They should.
Work on it.
So we stand out and people know they've got the freedom of the town.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. And
a big necklace with a key on, I think.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
That's all we need. Maybe a big necklace with like a shoe. You know, Northampton's famous for the cobblers, isn't it? And so the dream is that you set up the boxing gym, and then the next generation come through, and then you're going to train them, manage them. Where, do you want to be a trainer or a manager?
I'd rather be a trainer, but I think I will dabble in managing the right people. But if I managed a boxer, I would never train them, because it's a conflict of interest and something I don't agree with.
Yes.
Because everything should be separate. Yeah. So I'd always stick to that as well. If I trained a boxer, I'd never manage them. If I managed them, so it would go like that. But my boxing gym won't just be boxing. It's for the community, and I want to go into like getting people off the streets, more for community where boxing gyms are very intimidating. Yeah. So I wouldn't want my gym to just be a boxing gym. Yeah. It's going to be like an all-round community gym where it's a safe place.
Inspire kids that need something to look up to and get stuck into, rather than
thinking, I've got to go to the boxing gym and get punched in my face. It would not be like that. It's going to be a place where people can learn self-defense, learn to box, but also a safe place, and keep fit.
Amazing. Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Looking forward I'll come down when it's open. Yeah. Right, we got a few final questions to wrap up. I've loved this, by the way. Thank you for being so open and chatting and rolling with it.
Hope that some of these answers I don't get in trouble with now.
We'll send it to you, and if there's anything that needs to be bleeped over, like, we can do that. This won't be going out for a few weeks, so that's fine.
Anyway.
Right, you say you used to be a bookworm.
Yeah.
Favourite book?
Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
I've read all of them.
Have you?
Probably The Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. The first one?
Yeah.
I got banned from reading Harry Potter by my English teacher when I was like too young to be banned from reading.
Okay.
She was like, it's not academic enough. So then I just stopped reading.
Yeah.
Which obviously was probably not what she was trying to make happen. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
So I'm going to say this, relax, take it easy, because my first ever Katie Taylor fight, it was so prickly, it was so intense, and that sounds like such a simple sentence, but it was literally like, it just was going on and on in my head. So when I was getting booed and everything was going on, my coach just kept saying, relax, take it easy. Yeah. And it was just like, it was so calming and so soothing. And to this day, like, such a simple thing, it's just like, when you're having troubles and things are a bit tough, it's just like, just relax, take it easy, like everything will fall into place. So just relax.
I think that's great advice.
Simple but very effective.
Yeah, rather than just being on the front foot the whole time.
Just
gives
chill.
You a bit of time.
Yeah, just like
step
unfold. Back.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people get so uptight and stressed and that, but if you just literally take one step back, one deep breath, and it'll all come together.
It's easy to try and force things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then final thing, any favourite quotes or mantras?
I have a mantra, but I can't say it because I don't want it ever to be used against me. But before I fight, I always have one mantra that I go over and over and over.
Okay.
But I can't in case someone uses it against me.
You definitely can't.
No.
But I like that.
Yeah.
As in, you just say that to yourself again and again.
It's a mantra, that I just go over and over and over.
When you're like
warm in the changing room, walking out to the ring, when I'm looking across at my opponent, and it's so powerful.
Where's that come from?
So when I was younger, I used to have my amateur days. I had a bit of hypnotherapy.
Did you?
And it stems from them. And ever since about 18, it stuck with me ever since. And every fight I do it.
So the hypnotherapist potentially knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Secret safe with
but
her.
no one at all knows. Never told no one. Just my thing.
I like that. You've got some secrets that you're not willing to let out of the bag just yet.
Dark horse.
When you do hang up the gloves,
yeah.
and you're fully in King's Heath every day,
I'll tell them.
You can come, and you can come back on here and tell us, and you can bring your golden chain with the boot at the end of it. And we'll get Courtney here, and then we'll do take 2 of the Human 2 podcast by Luca Health.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Chantelle. It's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you for your time as well.
Really appreciate you coming in on a Sunday. Again, thank you to Cinch. If you ever need a used car, highly recommend you go on their website or indeed come to their mega store in Northampton. I think that's enough for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the Luca Health Podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, subscribe for more content like this. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.